Alright, welcome back. One time for your mind. It's versus everything. The newly revamped, you could say version 2.0. I welcome you to my humble little corner studio here. As you can see, I've slightly changed the format. This is now a one-man show to some extent anyway, because I decided I want to put out shorter format content while still being open to potentially interviewing people. I will still do that whenever I get a chance, but at the same time, this will allow me to hopefully put out content in a more consistent manner and attack topics that I would like to attack at the time when I want to talk about them. The other reason why I decided to change things up is obviously because after the first season, I've got a chance to talk about a number of things, to share experiences with a lot of very inspirational people. I had some amazing people on my show, and I'm very grateful for everyone that's come through and interviewed with me. I've learned a lot, and if anything, this gave me the necessary encouragement to actually go out and try this on my own, to sit down and just talk about certain things that I think are really in our face these days. You know, every time you open social media, all the divisive issues, all the problems, all the things that we perceive as, the world is going crazy, right? Well, I'd like to talk about them. I'd like to break it all right down, just raw and unfiltered, and see what they're built of, what they're about, what the different elements are. Because I know I can do that. I'm an introverted person and I hate small talk. But on the flip side of that, I really love to dive deep into these issues and understand how they work, how they came to be. And when you do that, you realize that, you really can't complain about a lot of things, but you can find solutions. So here we are. I've gone through a very subtle rebranding process. I also decided to adopt a little creative pseudonym, if you will. I go by Architect AP, right? AP are my initials, obviously, but as far as being an architect, I think I got this out of the Myers-Briggs personality test, right? So basically, the INTJ personality that I have is nicknamed as an architect. And while, there is no pretentious kind of subtext to it, I do feel like I can break most subjects and issues down to their foundation and understand all of the elements and what they're made of. So hopefully on this iteration of Versus Everything, I'll get to do that. I've said this before and I'll say it again. There is no one on this green earth that I couldn't debate. I will do it. If anybody has a different opinion, if everyone feels that they have something to say that, could perhaps challenge my views, that, could offer a different opinion, I'm all for it. You got to understand that I don't put this stuff out with intent to offend anyone, with any malice in my heart, any hate, anything like that. That's not what I'm here for. But if someone feels that they have an opposing view and they don't agree with what I'm saying, feel free to reach out. We can sit down. I still have the facility to sit down in the studio with you. We can talk about this, and hey, we could all learn from this journey and this experience. I'm always open to it, and I'm only happy for it. So please, you're welcome. All right, come on through. Throw your hat in the ring. I'm all for it. As you may have seen in the first season, I've even managed to do a little bit of that, and I'm very thankful to the people that came through and did this with me. I've learned a lot, and I feel I'm a better man for it. So once again, thank you to everyone from the first season. So I'm hoping in this iteration of Versus Everything, I can really stick to my original vision that I had when I decided to even put together a podcast. and I suppose this is where the name Versus Everything has come from, is I always wanted to attack these issues. I always wanted to talk about the things that, we these days don't talk about as much because we're scared, we feel censored, we feel pressured, we don't want to be cancelled, etc. And I feel like I can talk about them in a way that doesn't necessarily kind of take things into that dynamic, because I don't argue for or against things. I mainly aim to strip them down to the absolute bone so we can all understand what they're made of. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere along the way we can find this golden middle instead of constantly arguing about what's left and what's right, what's black and what's white. You know the rest, right? So, in doing this, I'm really hoping that I'll get a little bit of a insight into how people feel, what people think, because I can understand that, like, unconscious bias is a real thing, and despite the fact that I try to avoid any kind of bias as much as I can, I will still always look at things through my own lens, no matter how much I try to kind of pull it down. And despite the fact that, I got to absorb experiences of many people throughout my life, and through the process of even recording the first season of Versus Everything, I realized that I can never truly be 100% unbiased. So in saying this, you're welcome to come and challenge me on anything. I'm open to it. I don't take offense to anybody trying to challenge me on these subjects. I believe that constructive criticism and, a respectful debate can solve a lot of things. I've said this before and I say it again. You know what I mean? It's better than being scared to put something forward and resent the environment that you're in, and, harbor certain feelings that, that are negative towards people that you think see things a different way to you. So, hopefully this could even bring us together a little closer. You never know, right? So I really hope that you can join me on this journey. I hope that you'll follow me. And in saying this, I do feel that the first season of Versus Everything kind of gave me a bit of an insight into how addictive chasing stats can be. When you start worrying about views and likes and numbers. And I decided that this time around I can focus on my vision, however many people it touches, whether it be just one person or whether it'll be more. The key thing here is to stay true to my vision and try to talk about the subjects that matter, subjects that we think affect us in everyday life. And maybe, just maybe, through this process we can also realize that a lot of the time these things don't actually come into our process. But that's a story for another day, right? And if anybody does feel that they want to challenge me on anything and debate me, as I said, you're welcome to it, but you also got to understand that if we're doing this, we're putting this out. I've had experiences in my first season where episodes were recorded and I was asked not to put them out afterwards. And the only thing I can say about this is stand by what you say. Think about what you say and stand by it. That's it, that's all. I'm not going to say much more than this. I'm not here to point any fingers. It's just what it is. But this time around, it's raw, uncut. We're going live and direct. And I hope you can join me on this journey. One time for your mind, Versus Everything, Season 2. It's going down.